AI is the next wave, so you can either learn how to surf or get submerged. That's what I say. What up? It is Broadway, and I'm going to talk about ways that ChatGPT can help you save time and become more productive and efficient. Now, I know there is a lot of concern out there amongst musicians about AI and about AI taking over basically the creative industry and just taking all the jobs from musicians, especially when you hear things like, Timberland signs AI artists, and you hear about these AI bands that are being created and then getting millions of streams. And it is very concerning for musicians. So believe me, I understand. But I feel like, we should use AI to our advantage so that we can thrive and survive. If we use ChatGPT, for example, to help us become more productive and efficient, then we have more time and energy to make the music. And that's what's going to help us survive, because people are still going to want to hear from people. I totally wholeheartedly believe that. But there is a lot that has to be done as an independent artist to get your stuff out there, to get yourself out there. So because there is so much that needs to be done, you have to, take some of the things off of your plate anytime that you can. So that is why I believe using ChatGPT and other AI tools are important for a musician to thrive and survive. So I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I personally have done that. And if there's anything you can take from that, then cool. I hope there is. One of the ways is for brainstorming. So I used to work for NBC Los Angeles, and when I was there, I did a showcase, and NBC actually sent cameras to this showcase. So what happened was, because NBC carries the Olympics, I pitched the idea of doing an Olympic-themed music showcase. And they liked the idea, and they sent cameras to this showcase to film it. So I used ChatGPT to help brainstorm for some of the ideas around the showcase. So the title of the showcase, I ended up calling it Musical Gold. I believe I used ChatGPT to help brainstorm for that idea. I also, within the showcase, I had people that were really, really good at certain things. So like, for example, this dude, Francois Dean, really, really good on the piano. It's like a monster on the keys. So I called his category Cross Country King. So every theme, every performance had an Olympic theme based on what that person was good at. So, I gave each performance an Olympic sounding name based on their skills. So that was really cool. And, I thought it was really fun. It was a really fun night. And, NBC, we posted it on the NBC YouTube channel and played it on some of our streaming platforms and things like that. So, and I used ChatGPT to help brainstorm some of the categories and things like that for that performance. Also for brainstorming social media ideas, like specifically captions as well. You know how on Instagram, you can only see like the first, few words of the caption that you got to click. So you want those first few words to be very impactful. So sometimes I'll tell ChatGPT what the post is about, and I'll say, give me caption ideas, and make those first 4 or 5 words very impactful, very strong, so that I can, capture people's attention. And it does a pretty good job of giving you caption ideas, and it, does what you tell it, and it can give you some ideas for strong caption hooks. Also, you can brainstorm just, ideas for different social media posts or things like that. If you have a song coming out, you're like, hey, I got a song, it's about this. Give me some creative social media ideas for videos I can do or posts I can make based on, what's trending and things like that. And it can give you several ideas. And, it may not give you the exact idea that you end up using, but it can also help spark some creativity within yourself as well. So you can see something and be like, oh, maybe it's not exactly that, but you know what? I could do this instead. And, so that's one way that you can use ChatGPT to help you use brainstorming different social media ideas. I know that might sound self-explanatory to some of you, but I know a lot of you aren't using it in that way. So I want to encourage you to, use it because again, the more time you can save on things like that, like social media, the more time you have to actually write music. Another way that you can use it is for image generation. So ChatGPT generates images now. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, now we cannot be taking jobs from the graphic designers. We have to hire the graphic designers. Don't use ChatGPT because damn ChatGPT, and we got to keep the graphic designers employed. You can do both, actually. What I did on one song that I previously released, the last song I put out actually called Abandon, is I brainstormed ideas in ChatGPT for different images. And then I took the image that I liked, gave it to the graphic designer and said, hey, can you do something like this, but put me in it? So I gave him a picture of me. I gave him the image that ChatGPT gave me. And then he was able to put me in that same kind of similar scene, essentially. And that became the graphic for Abandon, for that song. So it's like you're keeping the graphic designer employed, but you're just making things more efficient, because when I went to him, I already had an idea. I already knew kind of what I wanted it to look like. He was able to save time. It was easier for him and he still got paid. And it was like a win-win all the way around. So, I think using it to help you brainstorm, is definitely an option, and you still can pay your graphic designer if that's what you want to do. Also, sometimes you may not have time to like wait for a graphic designer to turn something around. Like one time I was changing the name of a song and I just needed to get it up quick before I released this other song, but I just needed a graphic real quick to change that name. So I just did it with ChatGPT real quick and put it up. And it was an old song, and I was changing and I was putting out a new song that was going to have a similar name, and I just wanted to avoid confusion. And so I just changed the name of the old one, changed the graphic for the old song. So I didn't feel the need to pay a designer to do that. And like I said, I just needed it quick. So I used ChatGPT, boom, done. So, that's something you can do. Also for show flyers. Now I've seen people say, oh, the AI show flyers, they look a certain way. We can tell every time when you do those. You can also tell it to make the flyers look more realistic. Do this and make it look realistic. You can specifically say that and it'll do it. Then it'll give you much better output, I feel like, and the flyers will look better. So that's something you can try on your next flyer to make it look a lot better. I really feel like artists should be using AI more so that we, the artists, the real people, can survive, because it is tough out there. So the more time that you can save on doing some of the admin stuff that you don't really like to do anyway, then the more time you have for your music.